everyone remembers where they were when it happened. Many have tried to forget. Monday is the anniversary of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Commissioner Pete Rozelle, on the advice of Pierre Salinger, allowed the NFL to play just 2 days later, a move that Rozelle would later regret. Greg Garber looks back on the effects felt by the team from the city where the tragedy took place.
This is the only game in my entire career, even until the very end, that I did not want to play.
We were ashamed. I think we were ashamed to be a part of Dallas because we were guilty by association.
The Dallas Cowboys played the Cleveland Browns on November 24th, 1963. 2 days earlier, here at Dealey Plaza, John F. Kennedy was assassinated while the Cowboys practiced just 5 miles away.
I remember we were right in the middle of practice and someone came out and said that the president had been shot.
We were sick, basically. We just nauseous. I mean, it was just sickening. It just killed practice.
The Cowboys flew to Cleveland on Saturday, accompanied by the Dallas sports writers.
We were also very conscious that we were probably the first group, as a group, from Dallas to leave Dallas after the assassination.
I remember when we landed in Cleveland, the porters at the airport first, and then the bellhops at the hotel. They wouldn't touch any of the Cowboys' luggage or the big crates, you know, full of footballs and uniforms and equipment and all that stuff.
They would just look at us like, you know, who are these creatures from outer space? And you know, we would, I think, sort of walk with our heads down, trying to avoid eye contact.
People would spit at us and yell things, and we'd check into the hotel. You know, people would be screaming Kennedy killers, and all kinds of obscenities.
It was supposed to be Ray Renfro Day, but the Browns' 12-year flanker had to wait. Instead, the Cleveland organization focused on the Cowboys, assigning extra police to protect the ownership group in the stands and the players on the bench.
We were told to keep our helmets on at halftime, that they weren't going to have any type of introductions because they didn't know what could have happened to anybody going out there alone.
We were concerned about maybe there's going to be somebody in the stands who wants to get even with somebody from Dallas. Maybe take it out on Tom Landry, for goodness sakes, who would know, or one of the players.
I think to the back of my mind, I was always wondering if there was a guy up in the upper deck with a rifle or something, you know, taking a beat on me. I mean, something like that entered my mind, and I'm not going to tell you it didn't.
Oswald has been shot.
I remember when I was told about the Ruby thing, because I just was going up to the press box, and so he said, "Hey, did you hear what just happened?"
I remember I was already in the locker room, and Jim Nanowski came in, and he said that Oswald was shot. And then you don't know what was going on. And of course, we had made preparations for the game, had to get ourselves right mentally.
We went out in the pre-game warm-up thing, and it was like a morgue. You didn't feel the enthusiasm. The other players, the Browns, were as lethargic on their side of the field as the Cowboys were at our own end warming up.
The flag was at half-mast. The players and 55,000 fans stood at attention for taps and the national anthem. And then there was a minute of silent prayer for the slain president.
It was just a quietness about it that was unusual, different than getting ready for a real game where people are exchanging and you're talking and you're motivating. It was just that we're there and we're going to play this game. You know, we don't want to play the game, but we're going to play it.
Looked kind of like zombies. I mean, we all had our capes on. The weather was dreary. Nobody was jumping up and down. Everybody just had a long face.
It was played in total silence in the stadium here. There was no emotion, no cheering, nothing on either side of for either team, for or against. It was like playing in a studio.
No matter how you watched the game, you reflected on that big star from Dallas.
There was no television coverage, and the Oswald shooting canceled the radio broadcast back to Dallas. The Browns won the game 27-17 and moved into first place. Cowboys quarterback Don Meredith threw 4 interceptions. Cleveland's Frank Ryan threw 3. Jim Brown was held to 51 yards.
I don't even recall the game. I just recall the one thing, the news of the assassination, a murder.
It didn't mean nearly as much that day as it would have on other days. It was an important game in the sequence of things, but not nearly as important as it would have been if John F. K. had been watching it on television.
Though the Cowboys would later become known as America's team, for several years following the assassination, the players were reminded by fans around the league of what had happened in Dallas.
You know, murderers, you know, he murdered John Kennedy, you know, and
It all of us, yes. If you were close enough to be on the sideline, it was you, you know.